Today I'm going to tell you the incredible story of Mira, a woman who dedicated her life to her husband Raul. After years of sacrifice, however, she discovers a terrible secret that pushes her to put into action a surprising plan of revenge. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our stories. One day my husband asked me, "Hey, how much money do we have in that safe?" I chuckled and said, "Probably about 500,000 total." The next day, I found a signed divorce document on the living room table, and both my husband and the safe were gone. My name is Mira. I am 58 years old and I'm still working hard as a housewife and financial planner. My hobby has always been saving. As a child, my mother opened a savings account for me and told me that by putting money aside in the bank, I would see the numbers in my savings account grow. I found it so enjoyable that I started depositing small amounts, even just $1 at a time. As I grew up, I became passionate about money and decided to work as a financial planner, advising others on wealth management. One day, an old college friend of mine told me about an acquaintance of his, Raul, who was having serious financial problems due to debt. I decided to meet him with my friend. Raul was a handsome man with a reassuring smile, but gambling was his weakness and he was struggling to survive. My friend said to me, "Raul loves gambling despite his serious appearance. He's struggling to make ends meet. Can you give him some advice, Mira?" Raul admitted, "Yes, I love gambling just like my parents. Unfortunately, I also took on their debts." I found him concerned but endearing and agreed to help him, perhaps because I had developed a crush on him. It wasn't long before Raul and I started dating. A friend told me, "I don't advise you to be with him, Mira." But I went ahead and married Raul, believing that we would deal with his debts together. Thanks to my income, we were able to allocate most of Raul's earnings to repay the debt, while also giving him a monthly allowance of $500. Raul decided to cut ties with his parents, who forced him to support their expenses. When he told her, his mother cried out, "You ungrateful son! I wish I had never brought you into the world." His father also added, "I will not rest until I have taught you a lesson." Raul, exhausted, replied, "Enough! I'm not your ATM. I'm doing my best." He came back to me relieved, finally free from his parents. Shortly after, our son Ian was born. Raul seemed to have passed on to Ian his carefree attitude and lack of discipline. He continued to borrow money from loan sharks and scam his friends to get money to gamble, but I managed to keep him under control. After 23 years, we managed to reduce his debt to just $10,000. One day, Raul received a phone call from his parents. "Please help us. Your father has collapsed." Raul rushed to the hospital and texted me, "Mira, Dad is in the hospital. I'm sorry, but I came to visit my parents." I gave him some extra money for visits, and he began to see his parents more and more often, withdrawing $200 or $300 each time. He must have been worried about them, I thought. Eventually, Raul was withdrawing about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. A year after my father-in-law collapsed, Raul asked me, "Hey, how much money do we have in that checking account?" "About $500,000, I replied casually. The next day, I came home to find the divorce papers on the living room table. Neither Raul nor the safe were there. Our cat, Zara, kept me company as I turned on the camera to check on her and found Raul and his parents in our living room, plotting. "Oh, Raul, you live in such a beautiful house. You are our pride," his mother said flatteringly. "Yes, I am proud of you too," Raul replied. "I can't believe Mira would take your entire salary and leave you with only $500. It's outrageous," her father continued. "You shouldn't be ruled by a tyrant like her." Divorce Mira and live better on your own. Raoul nodded. Yes, I think you're right. I deserve better. His parents convinced him to steal my savings. I felt a stabbing pain in my heart, and tears began to flow. I had sacrificed everything to help Raoul pay off his debts, and now he was betraying me. I decided to record everything and sent the proof to my son Ian. Before we go any further, what would you do if you discovered such a devious plot against you? Write it down below and share your ideas on how Mira should get revenge on Raoul and his family. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and leave your like to show your appreciation. Raoul and his parents planned the theft. Raoul, you're smart. You must have thought of something, right? Asked his father. Raoul replied, Yes, I'll take the whole safe away. But it's heavy, his mother exclaimed. I'll load it on a cart. Help me, Dad, Raoul ordered. His mother added, Alfonso, if we have that money, we can go to the casino as a family. We could live together again, right? Raoul said hesitantly, Yes, but I feel a little sorry for Mira. She was saving so happily. You can't be that weak. We do this for your happiness, remember? His father said. Yes, you're right. Besides, I already have a new wife. I'm divorcing Mira right now, Raoul concluded. The next day, Raoul took the safe away, leaving the divorce papers on the living room table. But before he could access the money, I had already transferred everything to online banking. The safe was empty, and the only thing of value left was the little Zara. I immediately contacted my son Ian. Your father stole the safe, but there's nothing left in it. I've already filed for divorce, and I'm going to the police, I told him. Ian replied, Mom, you're right. It's time to end things with Dad. I filed a police report and hired a lawyer through a private investigator. Shortly after, Raoul called me furious. Mira, where is the $500,000? You cheated me. I replied, You just committed a theft. From now on, only communicate through my lawyer, and blocked his number.
The police arrested Raoul and his parents. Raoul spent a few days in custody, while his parents were released with a warning. After being released, Raoul returned to our house, shouting, Mira, let me in. Let's talk. I replied coldly, You are no longer entitled to anything. I have already filed the divorce papers. I called the police and Raoul was taken away. I asked for a restraining order and compensation for the emotional distress caused by the infidelity. Raoul lost his job. Today he works 3 part-time jobs.
His parents live in an old studio apartment, struggling daily to survive. I, on the other hand, have moved on. I live happily with Zara, and Ian visits me from time to time. Now I'm finally happy, and I've started a new savings account with a new safe that no one can take away. This story teaches us that trust is a precious gift, but it must be given wisely. This is why it is essential to know how to recognize when someone is exploiting us and have the strength to react. Ultimately, each of us deserves to live a life where respect and sincerity come first.